Good morning, Forest Park. Today's February 2nd, 2022. I'm Don Jones. I'm the city manager here with the City of Forest Park. This is our show Off the Cuff where we like to talk a little bit about what's going on in the city. Last week, we talked a little bit about some of the things that are going on in the police department, and we wanted to maybe just devote this whole show to talking about our police department, some of the great things that are going on, and some of the things that will be coming up in the future. So I have with us today Police Chief Bill Arns of the Forest Park Police Department. Welcome, Bill.
Thank you.
And we're glad to have you here. And I want to give you an opportunity to talk a little bit about some of the great things that are happening in our police department and some of the great people that are working there. So let's start off. I guess one of the things that we started off with a few years ago and we're continuing forward is the CALEA Certification. Now, people don't know what CALEA stands for. It's an acronym. So tell us a little bit about, number one, what it stands for, and a little bit about it, how it affects our city and our police department.
Sure. CALEA stands for the Commission on Accreditation of Law Enforcement Agencies, and they have been in existence, I believe, since 1979.
Okay.
And it's an international accreditation agency, and it's considered the gold standard in policing. Mm-hmm. So just like hospitals and businesses that are accredited, that is basically the same thing for law enforcement. And we started this process back in 2019. And it is a very long and arduous process.
As it should be.
Absolutely. If you're going to say that you do good work, then you need to prove you do good work. And we have a minimum of 181 standards that we have to basically show that we adhere to on a daily basis.
And these are, as you said, the gold standards in policing, but these are the best practices that are recognized around the world in terms of these certifications, that these are the best practices that police departments can implement and follow. So that's a real commitment on the part of our police department.
That's right. It is the best practices. And one of the reasons that we want to do this is we want to let the community know that while we say that we do a good job, we want to be able to prove we do a good job by letting an outside agency come in and look and see what we do as an organization. And we're surrounded by CALEA accredited agencies: Springdale Police Department, Green Hills, Fairfield, Coleraine Township. So we were for a long time the lone entity encircled by very professional agencies. So we are very proud now that we can say that we are one. We were accredited in March of 2021.
And that's something that you continually get reviewed on and you continually have to prove. So CALEA, this isn't a one-stop shop where they come in and certify you and they don't come back. They continue to come and monitor the police departments, full transparency, and come in and make sure that you're continued to hold all those high standards.
That's correct.
So we're in a reaccreditation process again soon.
It's basically a 4-year cycle.
Okay.
You go through a full accreditation every 4th year. But in between that, you have what they term as web-based assessments, where they will look at your policies, your procedures, your proofs. A proof is where you have to show that you are following your directives, and they will do a web-based analysis of your agency on about 25% of your standards. And you don't know what those 25% are going to be, so you have to always maintain your level of proficiency.
And that's really a commitment that you brought forward as well as the chief, but also from the community as well through City Council who funded it, making sure that and set the expectation that we would be one of the highest rated police forces in the region, and it's a reflection on not only your leadership but the police department, your folks that work for you, as well as the commitment from the community to really demand these types of services.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to take credit for being an accredited agency. It's the men and women of the police department that do a great job every single day and prove that we are one of the best police departments in the county.
And I think they do that every day. There's recently we received an award from one of our police departments. You can tell us a little bit about that. You know, we have really good policemen, and this isn't the first award we've won or individuals have won, but it just shows that from a professional standards and recognition by their peers, that our folks are continuing to be recognized for the good work that they do. Tell us a little bit about the most recent one.
Right. So the most recent award winner on our police department was Sergeant Dave DeSalvo, and he is the commander of our criminal investigations section. But we are also, Forest Park Police Department is a member of the Hamilton County Police Association, which has been in existence since the 1930s. And annually they have an awards banquet. So Sergeant DeSalvo, who is a member of the Hamilton County Search and Recovery Team, which is the dive team. They were recently deployed in 2021, a case that probably many people had heard on the news, where a 21-year-old case,
a cold case
of a missing woman and her 2 children in Delhi Township. It was reopened by one of their officers who got some information that she perhaps had not left the country like was previously believed, but that she may have actually driven her car into the Ohio River and killed herself and her children. This went on for several months, this investigation with the new information. They called in the Hamilton County dive team, and with Dave's help, he was one of the actual divers that dove into the Ohio River, and in 53 feet of water, 300 feet offshore, they were able to find her vehicle.
That's incredible.
And get it brought back up to shore. And fortunately, or unfortunately, however you have a take on this particular case, they did find human remains in the vehicle and gave the family some closure.
Yeah, and that's on these cold cases, most of that is just providing closure to the family.
Absolutely.
Well, that's incredible. And the good thing about it is, it really proves that for the region, there are these types of specialty teams that we participate in, and we add our expertise to, but they're also available to us if we need them. So it's great that these regional agencies can come together and provide these specialties, and whether it's a dive team or a swiftwater rescue or all of those things that we participate in. So we may not have that. We may not have a boat, but we have access to people who have boats, and we share resources, which really is great about this area.
Right, that's the whole key to the Hamilton County Police Association. They maintain the underwater search and recovery. They also maintain the SWAT team, which we have one member of our agency on that team. They also have an honor guard. And a computer forensics team. So, all of those entities help better our community and the communities around us.
Yeah, we can all share resources that make the best use of all of our resources.
Absolutely.
So that we can afford to do these things by sharing resources among communities. Also, one of the things that came up in our last show, and we just had heard about it, and it did hit the newspaper and the radio and the TV. So I want to talk a little bit about it. Body cams.
Yeah.
We are in the process we've been notified. We haven't officially received the final notifications, but grants to purchase body cams for all of our police departments. Can you tell us a little bit about what that's going to look like when we roll that out, and how we're going to administer, and a best practices, again, per CALEA, best practices in terms of how body cams will be administered in our city.
So we have had in-car cameras for a number of years now, and when we first got the in-car cameras, body cameras were still kind of new, and there was not a consensus on whether or not the police department should have body cameras. So the decision was made to have the in-car cameras, and they've been very useful. The bugs, if you want to call them bugs, have been worked out of body cameras over the last couple of years, and now it is expected not only by the public, but it's also expected by the police officers themselves. They want to have body cameras to show what they do on a daily basis and to record evidence, and not only hold themselves accountable, but to be able to show the community what a good job that they're doing.
It really is a transparency issue where we're proud of our cops.
Absolutely.
and they do a great job and they interact. Our focus has been forever, but community-based policing, and we focus on community-focused policing, which would
Right.
which is we were doing that before it became the standard.
Yes.
And so that's been a focus here again, driven by our community and the expectations of
That's right.
how they want to be policed.
Absolutely.
And what they expect of our police department, and also through our elected officials, making sure that our focus is that, and through again management at the chief level and all the way down to create a culture
Right.
that is community based and understood by our police officers. So these body cams are transparent, and I think they're going to be well received with the police department and the community.
Right. Don, society today is very visual.
Yes.
When you watch the news, there is video usually of just about every story they talk about. So the public has come to expect to see some video with a narrative. And that is what we hope that these body cams are going to provide to us. We had the opportunity to apply for a federal grant to get some funding for the body cameras. And then at the same time, the opportunity came up through the state of Ohio to get a grant. So we applied for both grants, and we have been told that we have been awarded both. We're still waiting on our award letters.
Yeah, that's the bid. That's the grant process. They'll tell you got it, but they got to get the official letter before you really.
That's correct.
You can really take it to the bank.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So we have vetted several companies for body cameras, and we have settled on a particular company. And that is the avenue that we're going to start pursuing as soon as all the building blocks fall into place legislatively and financially.
Yeah, basically, we've been working on this for over a year.
Absolutely.
And maybe two. It goes back to at least 19.
Yes.
And, trying to put together the package, looking at the vendors, determining how we're going to use them. So, and they're very expensive, in tight budgets. You have to make a commitment to this, and thank goodness that the state of Ohio has come through with some funding, and the feds have come through with some funding. So it's not paying the whole bill; it's about 2/3.
Correct.
Yeah, and then we're still going to have to go the ongoing costs. So
That's correct.
but it's something, as you said, that the citizens expect.
That's right.
And we haven't had any issues. Thank goodness that we've needed or had a request for a body cam.
Right.
But we'll be prepared and move forward with this, and I'm sure we'll do a great job. And our policemen, again, they're waiting for this.
Absolutely.
They've been looking to have this sooner than later.
Yeah, it's just another tool
Yep.
for them to have available to do their jobs and do their jobs correctly.
Well, I think that we look forward to getting that kicked off, and there'll be more information about it as it comes out, and you'll hear. We'll probably have you back, and you can show us how they work.
I'd be glad to
once we get them and so that'd be going forward. That's what the citizens, in terms of the information they need to know that it's coming,
Right.
and there'll be a process. But we're going to jump into it with both feet and make sure that this happens sooner than later. And once we get the funding from the states and the federal government, we'll be purchasing those and implementing that. So
Absolutely.
that kind of wraps it up. I think we've talked a little bit about it. Again, if the citizens have some questions, they can direct them to us or to the police department. Feel free to direct them to myself as well at City Hall. And hopefully everyone. We're filming this today, and hopefully everyone has survived. It's going to be showing it here after the big snow and ice storm is coming up. So hopefully everyone stays safe and has survived the big snow and ice storm. But again, if you're watching this and we're still in the middle of the issues, the police department is still working.
We are.
And the fire department as well. Public Works will be out working 24 hours. And so the city services are still going on.
That's right.
And if you have any issues, make sure that you call in, and we'll be glad to try and help with everything we can. So stay safe, Forest Park. Bill, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And we appreciate everything you do for our community. And stay safe, Forest Park, and we'll see you next week.